Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level lesson. This is part 4 of Travel Adventures, and today we're going to be learning how to write a blog post about a trip that you have taken. Alright, so we're going to read some facts about Mexico City. One of these facts is not true, so see if you can find the one that is not true. Mexico City has the largest population of any city in North America. Mexico City is built on the ruins of the capital city of the Aztec Empire. Mexico City Metro has 450 stations. The National Autonomous University of Mexico, or UNAM, has more than 300,000 students. Mexico City has more museums than New York or Paris, and the city hosted the 1968 Olympic Games. So which of those is not true? It would be C. The Mexico City Metro has 200 stations, not 450. All right, so these are some places to see in Mexico City. Zocalo Square, the National Palace, Palacio de Bellas Artes, and the Mesoamerican Pyramids. So we're going to listen to a conversation between Eustel and Martin and then answer the questions.
Martin, you've been to Mexico City before, haven't you?
Sure, a bunch of times. Why?
Well, we're thinking of spending a few days there, and I was hoping you could give us some advice.
Absolutely. What would you like to know?
Well, where do you think we should stay?
Well, I would recommend a suburb like Condesa or Roma, because they are fairly close to the center of town, but they are also beautiful, green, peaceful areas.
Okay, Condesa or Roma? Is that Condesa?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, great. And places to eat? Can you recommend anywhere for a special dinner?
When you stay in Condesa, there are heaps of awesome restaurants nearby. La Capital or Azul Condesa are a couple of my favorites. They're a bit expensive by Mexican standards, but the food is amazing. Just remember to make a booking because they are very popular, especially on the weekend.
Okay, so why does Eustel ask Martin for information about Mexico City? Well, the answer is D, because Martin has visited Mexico City. How long is Eustel planning to stay in Mexico City? It's a few days. Martin suggests staying in Condesa or Roma, and Martin recommends the neighborhoods because they are green and peaceful. All right, so now we're going to listen to the second part of the conversation and then answer the questions.
Okay, those two are in my guidebook, so I'll put a star next to them.
Okay, what's next?
Well, when we started doing some research, we discovered that there are a ton of amazing places to visit. We only have a few days. So what is one you would definitely recommend?
Well, you have to go to the Anthropological Museum. The museum will give you a fascinating look into the history and culture of Mexico. I spent a whole day there when I went, and I still didn't see everything.
Wow, okay. That's great. Thanks very much for your help.
You're welcome. Let me know if you have any more questions.
So Eustel has already heard of the two restaurants that Martin recommends, and how do we know this? Well, because Eustel says that these restaurants are listed in his guidebook. And what does Martin say about the Anthropological Museum? He said that it gives a great summary of um, the history and culture, and he recommended visiting it. So where have you traveled, and what was the must do or must see? So where did you go, and what would you recommend as the most important thing to see or do? And how do you decide what you will see or do on vacation? So here's some answers by these people. She says, I always use a good guidebook, and my local bookshop has a great selection. Most of my friends have traveled a lot, so I usually ask for their advice. I like to read travel blogs because you can usually find out about little known places or that are off the beaten path. And most cities have websites that provide a ton of information about what to visit, when to visit, how much it costs, and how to get there. All right, so you still has a travel blog, so we're going to read about his experiences in Mexico City and then answer the questions. Day 1. Well, here we are in Mexico City. We have been here for almost a full day now, and we are having a wonderful time. We have just got back from dinner at a well-known restaurant called La Capital, which is just around the corner from our hotel. It was absolutely packed and quite noisy as a result. It was difficult to talk to each other, so we decided to focus on the wonderful food. So how long has Justel been in Mexico City? He said almost a full day. Which word does he use to mean return? Let's see. So have just got back. I think that's it. Have just got back. And how does he describe the restaurant? Packed and quite noisy. All right, now we're going to talk about linking words. We use linking words to join ideas. A linking word shows the relationship between the ideas. So if we're joining different ideas, we use the word but. Mexico City is very crowded, but you can find quiet and peaceful neighborhoods. So being crowded is kind of a different idea than quiet and peaceful. So that's why we use but. If you're joining an extra idea, use and. We have been here for almost a full day, and we are having a wonderful time. So these are kind of equal in importance. And then showing a second idea that is the result of the first idea, we use so. It was difficult to talk to each other, so we decided to focus on the wonderful food. So focusing on the food, being difficult to talk was the reason that they decided to focus on the food. All right, so you're going to connect the sentences using and, so, or but. You can pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so number 1, the restaurants are busy. You should make a reservation. This one would be so. Make the full sentence. Restaurants are busy, so you should make a reservation. Mexico City Airport is close to town. It can take 2 hours to get to your hotel by taxi. So Mexico City Airport is close to town, but it can take 2 hours to get to your hotel in a taxi. Because these are sort of opposite ideas, and that's why we use but. It's close to town, so you would think that it would be a quick trip to get to the hotel, but because of the large amount of traffic, it can take 2 hours. So these are kind of different ideas. Condessa is a lovely neighborhood with many small hotels. It has a lot of good cafes and restaurants. So Condessa is a lovely neighborhood with many small hotels, and it has a lot of good cafes and restaurants. So we use and here because these two ideas, being a lovely neighborhood with hotels and having good cafes and restaurants, are kind of equal ideas. Mexico City is enormous. It's a good idea to stay downtown. So Mexico City is enormous. So it's a good idea to stay downtown. So staying downtown would be the result of the city being so large. So that's why we use so. There are many great restaurants in Mexico City. The food is cheap compared to other big cities. So there are many great restaurants in Mexico City, but the food is cheap compared to other big cities. So these are kind of two different ideas. You would expect great restaurants to be expensive. However, they aren't, so that's why we use but. And number 6, Mexico City is one of the largest cities in the world. Tokyo is larger. So Mexico City is one of the largest cities in the world, but Tokyo is larger. Again, so two different ideas, and that's why we use but. So we're going to continue reading Eustel's travel blog. We are staying in a suburb known as Condesa. We spent most of the day wandering the streets and having a look around because we have never been here before. It's a lovely, peaceful area full of green, leafy streets. It really is a sanctuary from the hustle and bustle that people normally associate with Mexico City. We were exhausted when we returned to the hotel. So what does wandering the streets mean? Wandering the streets would be just sort of walking around with no particular destination in mind. So just kind of walking around, seeing the sights. Hustle and bustle is the opposite of peaceful. So what's another way to say hustle and bustle? Maybe something like, busy and lively, crowded and active, something like that. And a sanctuary is a safe place. And what place in your city is a sanctuary for you? It might be a park, it might be a church, it might be the ocean or a lake or a river. So it could be, many different places. All right, we're going to look at two more linking words, because and when. When joins two ideas or actions that happen at the same time or nearly the same time. So we were exhausted when we returned to the hotel. When you stay in Condesa, there are heaps of awesome restaurants nearby. We use because to express the reason for something. I would recommend a suburb like Condesa or Roma because they are fairly close to the center of town. We spent most of the day wandering the streets and having a look around because we had never been here before. All right, so now you're going to complete these sentences with when or because. You can pause the video and try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Just remember to make a booking at the restaurants because they are very popular. You should stay in Condesa because it is like a sanctuary. We felt very happy when we returned to the hotel on the first day. I was amazed at the size of Mexico City when I saw it from the window of the plane. We visited the Tourist Information Office when we arrived at Mexico City Airport. We decided to visit only 2 museums because we were staying for only a few days. All right, so now you're going to complete Eustel's blog with some linking words. So you can pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check the answers. So it's now day 2, and we have spent the whole day in downtown Mexico City. It was a real shock to the system after the peace and quiet of Condesa. We had some trouble finding the anthropological museum, so we had to ask several people for directions. Everyone we spoke to was very friendly and helpful. They were very patient too, even when I had to ask them to repeat something because my Spanish is not very good. The Anthropological Museum really is a must-see when you come to Mexico City. Make sure that you don't miss the fabulous Aztec exhibition. Now you're going to answer some questions and to get ready to write your own blog post. So think about a special place that you've visited and answer these questions about it. Where did you go and how did you get there? Where did you stay and why did you choose that place? Did you visit a good restaurant and how did you find out about it? What was the best thing that you saw or did on the trip? Did someone recommend seeing or doing it? And did you do anything unusual? And if so, what was it? All right, so then you're going to write a paragraph about day 1 of your travel and try to use the connecting words and, so, but, because, and when. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. And I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.